Whoa. It's your boy. I'm back again, and I'm about to drop those facts. Let's go. Hey guys, what's up?
Everybody.
Stella's Wi-Fi is booty butt today because she is glitching out right now.
Am I?
Yeah, big time. It must be because my background is the Matrix, everybody.
It's probably everybody in my house is like streaming something at some point. Yeah.
Streaming video games, streaming YouTube, streaming Netflix, and then you're in the other room streaming big time gym over here. Hey!
Did you just call yourself big time? Did you just do that?
Well,
you just called yourself fucking big time.
I did. I'm the Big Show. Erica called me the Big Show the other day. She was like, "You got a body like the Big Show," and I was like, "That's not a compliment." Oh my gosh! I was like, "Did you really just call me the Big Show?" No, like I'm getting tired of being called wrestler names. I've been called Triple H. I've been called the Big Show.
Triple H for what though?
Because I got a big nose, so they call me Triple H. Yeah, you remember Triple H? He had the all right, no, time out. It was the nose, I think, and the long hair because I had long hair at a certain point. I'm like, dude, like you can at least call me. What's that guy's name? The guy, Sweet Chin Music. What was his name again? Was it Hardy?
Jeff Hardy? Kid, Shawn Michaels.
Shawn Michaels. There you go. Whoa. Yeah. I'm trying to get back into wrestling, man. Yesterday, a lot of people were bringing up some women WWE wrestlers. I'm like, damn, they got some hot ass, beautiful women on WWE.
Yeah.
Shout out to the hot ass women on WWE. Becky Lynch, she's fine to me.
I don't know who,
do you know who Becky Lynch is?
I haven't followed wrestling since I was a kid. Like, and that's when it was good. Before it was WWE, it was WWF, and it was fucking badass.
There's another one. Her name is like Sasha Banks, I think her name is. She's a baddie too. And then Ronda Rousey is on there too. I'm like, she's a baddie too.
She does entertainment shit now. That's interesting.
Yeah, and I mean, like, they just got a solid ass lineup of beautiful women on there, but I'm sure they're badasses too. So shout out to the badass women of the world, especially
to the women.
All of you beautiful, strong women who are dealing with all of the negativity in the news these days too, with that whole Wade versus Roe thing going on right now. What you think about all that going on right now?
You know, what's interesting as I was Googling it, and the original decision for Roe versus Wade was decided on my birthday, but before I was born. It was 1973, but it was January 22nd, 1973 is when Roe versus Wade was decided that basically like protects a pregnant woman from like to be able to have an abortion without like the government getting involved, you know? Right. It's wild to me that in 2022, like that's going to get overturned. And I feel like what else is interesting about it is that it's predominantly conservatives that want to do it, right? And the Conservative Party are supposedly the patriots. They always refer to like founding fathers a lot, right? And it's interesting to me because like if you took any history class growing up, it was made pretty clear that like first of all, they came here for freedom of religious persecution, right? They wanted the freedom to practice whatever religion. But they also made it pretty clear, like when they were establishing this country, that they wanted separation of church and state. Like they didn't want religions to be like to influence like law, right? But that's exactly what's happening, is like it's a bunch of Christian conservative people who think that just because they think life begins at conception, that everybody else should have to believe that, and if they don't, oh well, fuck you. Like, just because that's what you believe, maybe that's not what I believe, and I shouldn't have to be, upheld or not have access to do what I want with my body based off your beliefs.
Right, right. So for the people that don't know, Stella, does this whole Wade versus Roe thing affect the whole entire country, or is it just a certain area?
Okay, so it's a federal thing, right? Because it was through the Supreme Court, but there's a lot of states that they have to, like, it's hard for them to say you can't get an abortion
Right.
if you wanted to, but without that being in place, then the states who are trying to ban it can and will.
Gotcha.
And all it does is it doesn't stop abortions from happening. It just stops safe abortions from happening. Like, women historically have, like, there's women who've died because there's women who will go and who've had it removed with a coat hanger in an alley somewhere, like, but
Right.
what's interesting though is that the other piece is, like, if it's not a viable pregnancy, like when I was pregnant with my daughter, I actually was told by UCSD that I should abort my daughter.
Dang.
And I was told that by them because in her ultrasound there was this light in her bowels, and it could have meant one of two things: that either she swallowed like amniotic fluid or something, or there's blood in her bowels, or Down
Right.
syndrome. And they said it's probably Down syndrome. They didn't know for sure. They asked me if I wanted to do an amniocentesis, which is where they put the needle through your stomach into the amniotic sac, and they extract, fluids like cells, and they test
Right.
those cells, and they could basically tell you everything about your baby, right? That's what this does. However, the risk of miscarrying after having an amniocentesis is 1 in 200. And that wasn't a risk I was willing to take. They told me I should abort it. They said, you don't want to have the kind of life that you would have if your child had Down syndrome. It'd be very rough.
Right.
And I was 4 months pregnant. I was devastated. You're hormonal as fuck.
Right.
And like, they made me think about it. And ultimately, obviously, I decided not to. And look how fucking wrong they were. Right? Like,
Yeah.
she doesn't have Down syndrome. She's like the perfect fucking child in the world. Like, but the other piece is people have abortions because of ectopic pregnancies. Like, so when the egg goes down the tube, sometimes it gets stuck there, and that's typically where it's fertilized as well. So instead of continuing to the uterus to implant itself, it just implants itself in the tube. Now, if you don't get that removed, you can die. Like, that could make your fucking shit explode inside you. It's not
Right.
equipped to expand the way the uterus is. That's a reason you would get an abortion. But banning abortion bans those ones, like shit like that they'd have to do to save your life as the mother. And so it's not all this idea that people have abortions just because they fucked somebody one night and it was a little irresponsible and they just don't want a kid. Like, that's probably the smallest percent of why women get abortions. And it's not a fucking easy decision. Every woman that I know who has had one, like feels guilty about it for life, right? And it's because of this whole religious bullshit and the way that people shame them and make them feel bad about their decision 1000%, because, well, you know, like they're doing what's best for them at that moment, and it's fucked up that like being taken from them. I've had men tell me that it's really selfish that women get to decide that, and that the woman and then the man, like if he got her pregnant and he wants it but she doesn't, that she can abort it because it's her body. I've heard that side of it, but to that I say she's the one sacrificing the most, right? Like you're sacrificing your body, right? You're all the shit happens, right? And once women have a, like, it does shit to your body, and it, like typically we're undesirable to men after that, right? But then
Pussy ass men. But continue.
Right, like stretch marks, and you know,
Right.
the vagina is not as tight as it was before, and blah 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 blah. It's like, oh my god.
Some women it gets tighter. But continue.
Anyways, so, but not only that, is like the labor and delivery, that fucking process is a bitch on your body, your hormones, postpartum depression, you know, breastfeeding or not breastfeeding, you're typically losing the most. You're not going straight back to work typically, so you further behind in your career, you know, like there's a lot of things that we sacrifice more because we have to. And so I think that decision is ours, you know,
It
like
totally should be.
ultimately at the end of the day. Do I
So
think you should have a conversation with your man? Sure. But that's how I feel about that.
So here's like how I'm viewing this. Here's my viewpoint on all of that in general, and I I have to say that for anybody to who is of the male species to not be on the same board as some of the things I'm about to say is mind-boggling and beyond me. For the people who don't understand or don't just shut up and listen when women are talking, like everything that you were just talking about, it makes like so much sense. And the fact that there's people who are in place of power who think that it's okay to make some kind of law when it comes to somebody else making choices on their body is absolutely beyond me. Like I don't understand it. But what I want to know, Stella, is there, because I wouldn't know, but you're somebody who has posted about it on Instagram, and you probably got some people firing things at you because you always do. From a woman's viewpoint on a guy who, for some godforsaken reason, would like somehow support this whole idea of women not having rights of what they do with their body, has there been anybody who has some kind of viewpoint that is objective to women protesting this idea that you
Yeah.
know of? Yeah, tell me about some of the
But
things they say,
it's
because that's absolutely crazy to me.
well, it's the super religious guys who are like
Okay,
typically
the
white,
religious.
typically white,
Okay.
religious. Um, it's a white Christian man that that these men believe that like they have the right to control literally the fucking world. I mean, look at the world, right? And how they colonized everything, you know, uh put imposed Christianity on the world, like literally send missionaries into villages in different countries to convert them to Christianity, right? Like this is, they think their way is the only way it should be, and it's very extremist. Those are the men that respond the way that, and they're super like misogynistic, and like they we are here for you guys, basically. Like our whole purpose on this earth is to serve men, have their babies, put the lotion on, do what you're told. That like that's how they view women.
Do you think they're trying to bring the world back to that kind of lifestyle?
Have you seen The Handmaid's Tale?
I have not seen The Handmaid's Tale.
You should watch it
Why?
because it's this like dystopian thing where like women, like what I'm talking about, your like purpose is to bear children, and
Mhm.
like it it's wild. Watch it. At least watch the first couple of episodes.
I'll check it out.
It'll
Definitely.
it'll tell you everything.
Yeah, I'll definitely check it out. For me, all of this stuff going on, I'm wondering to myself, like, what is the grand scheme here? Because I know there's always a grand goal that these lawmakers are trying to get to, and it's confusing. Why would they do this? Because it
Well,
literally makes no sense. It's just like,
but
what?
it does
Huh?
if you think about it from their perspective. So like one thing that I had read is that we're having less children than like the boomer generation did, right?
Well, there's a lot of reasons for that, I feel.
Sure, there's a
So,
lot of reasons for that, but that doesn't, when you're having less kids, you have
mhm,
less slave working class to
gotcha.
fulfill capitalism.
Right.
So by them controlling
Mm,
you from not having, or from having not having children that you don't want to have, you're
mhm.
not you're not breeding the workforce and
Gotcha.
the
Okay.
military, etc. So like that's what I mean, from shit that I've read, like that's what makes the most sense to me.
See, I haven't heard any of those kind of those schemes or ideas that you just mentioned right there. And that, I mean, that would make sense. It's like they gotta have the next working class. So if they feel like the American people are not having as many babies because of obvious reasons, with everything being so expensive and what have you. I remember back in the day, families were huge. Like I have tons of aunts and uncles, and now like
And you could
you
afford a house being a teacher or a mailman, right? Like you
exactly.
could afford
Yep.
to still buy the house and feed your kids that you were having plenty of. Like that
Yep.
used to be a thing, and like the cost of living has gone up like fucking I don't know how many folds, right? Like infinite folds at this point. And you can't do that. It's irresponsible to have children at this point. Like it's a hard
Yeah.
it's hard for me to feed my own, you know,
Hmm.
at times. So, and that's why I got my tubes tied when I was 24, because I didn't want to have more kids than I could afford to take care of by myself. Like
Hmm.
that was the responsible thing for me to do at that point. It's,
Right.
in ways it has fucked me, but in a lot of ways, the only reason I am where I am is because I didn't have more children to support, like it's it's fucking hard.
Yeah. I what do you think the conclusion is going to be on this? Do you think that they're definitely going to make that happen? Because there'll be an absolute uproar and people will go ham. I know that a lot
People
of people
are
will
gonna
get
go
against
ham. They're
this.
already protesting. Like,
Yeah.
I saw someone posted something today saying, and I don't know how true this is. I have to look into it still, but this is what I
Hmm.
saw, is that like when Mexico tried to ban abortions, like people went to go burn down like
Mm,
whatever Capitol building or presidential building down there, and then they
right.
stopped trying to ban it. I don't know if that's true. I still have to Google it and check into it, but that's what they said. And I feel like if they overturned Roe versus Wade, there would be an uproar, but it also, because these motherfuckers are who they are, it makes me feel like I feel like it was leaked because obviously somebody who saw this didn't agree with it and thought that the world should know and like take action.
Mhm.
I also think it's super irresponsible. Like, it's why Supreme Court justices, like, it's such a big deal when they're nominating them to these seats because their life, there's no like limit to how long they serve as a Supreme Court justice. That's why it matters that it's balanced and not predominantly conservative or predominantly liberal. Like, it should be balanced.
Mhm.
Um, and I can't help but wonder what kind of shit they're gonna fucking push through while we're all fucking focused over here. Like,
Yeah.
this whole distraction happening, what are they gonna fuck us with on this side while we're looking this way?
Yeah, that's always my question too, because all of that was going on and people were focused on the whole Johnny Depp Amber Heard thing, you know.
Yeah.
and and you wonder too, like, why are they even airing that right now live and all over TV and the internet all over the place? It's like that typically doesn't happen. Why are they doing that? Like, why
I
is
mean, there
is
are
there
certain trials that they televise. I don't think that needed to be one of them,
a
but
lawsuit though? I've never seen a lawsuit televised. Like, this ain't Judge Judy. You know what I mean? This is
right.
Johnny Depp, Pirates of the Caribbean. You know what I mean? Like, these are like
Yeah,
high profile people. When did they start airing stuff like that? This isn't
right.
OJ who was being accused of murdering somebody, but you know, he got off and all that. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
They try to
And I
elevate
think
it.
too is like it's almost midterms. So like
Mhm.
I think it's in the best interest of these conservative fucks to like, but I think that they think and they know they have actually a decent amount of people behind them who agree with them. Um and so it's going to be really interesting to see who shows up and shows out. But with what they've been trying to do with voter restriction and shit like that, that's on purpose too, because who does it mostly affect? People of color and poor people,
Mhm.
right? Like, the majority of the people who already have a hard time accessing, voting booths and whatever is people of color and poor people. And it's like not fucking by, you know, any coincidence, like you're not allowed to vote if you're a felon, right?
Mhm.
Who is majority felons? Black and
Right.
brown men and women, right? Like, they're doing everything they can to like take away our ability to vote, and this is the kind of shit that
No,
happens. So
that's some deep stuff, man. That's some really deep stuff.
it's true. It's literally true that the fucking evidence is everywhere. People just don't fucking pay attention. Like, or they don't give a fuck because it doesn't affect them personally. But there's
Right.
places like Texas, like during the presidential election, where there's one fucking place to vote in an entire county. Imagine Clark County, Las Vegas, having one place to fucking vote and submit your shit. That
Yeah, it'd
many
be
people.
absolute chaos.
How many
Right.
people can't get down there, can't take off your work to stand in line all goddamn day?
And
Like,
people
this
can't
is the
stand each
shit that
other,
they
so
do. Or people who, you know, for whatever reason, like, it's a lot of people who are homeless or struggling financially, all these things. Like, part of my job when I worked with this community was trying to help them get identification, and like, you need an address. And when there's hella people losing housing right now because of the fucking state of this country, like, you're losing hella voters, like people who are eligible to vote. And it's just going to keep going in the way of the people who have the privilege and status to do it.
mm, yeah, shit's crazy, man. That shit is absolutely crazy. Some really, really deep shit.
People don't think about that. Like, a lot of people on here, like, when I did that shit about fucking student loans, like, it was like, I beat cancer and now I'm mad that they found a fucking cure for it. this is actually about student loans. Like, that's how motherfuckers sound to me. Like, hey, I was sick and I had to beat it. Like, that means you can't have the cure. And like, even if I pay my shit off, I still want them to forgive student loan debt, because the way that shit was fucking set up was super like predatory, and it's out of fucking control. Like, when I got out of college, my student loan debt was $15,000. Right? I was in college. I took for like 11 years I was in college.
Yeah.
15,000 isn't a lot relative to what I know people have out there. And I always paid a little bit more than the minimum, because I know that if you're just paying the minimum, you're only paying interest. That's how high the interest rate is. Yeah. A year later, my balance was almost 17,000. How the fuck? How the fuck is my balance almost $2,000 more than when I started, when I've been paying this shit for a year and a half?
That makes no sense.
That is out of control. That is why they need to cancel this shit. That, like there's a lot of shit you can't do it too. Right. There's a lot of shit you can't do at 18. You can't have a fucking beer. You know what I mean? You can't have a cigarette now. That's the smoking age is raised to 21. Like, but they will let you take a loan with like an insane amount of interest, like unsubsidized loans.
Right.
At that age for, 50 grand fucking semester.
Yeah, people don't know nothing.
That's crazy. That's crazy.
That's why it's college, and most of the times is not people.
And you'll get
not
it.
Everybody's supposed to go there. You know what I mean? Like, I mean, some people is good, but it's like college is a scam.
The people, but that's the thing. Like the boomers and all these, and even Generation X afterwards, it worked for them because college wasn't outrageous. There weren't these like fucking crazy capitalist fucks like in charge of everything. Like, they weren't screwing people over the way they are now. And it wasn't like a legal thing to do at that point, right? And it was conceivable. But now it is. And not only that, but like it's kind of like going to the military, right? It's like your get out of the hood pass. This is how you're conditioned and you're talked to, like, go to school. And I wouldn't have the job I have right now if I didn't have my piece of paper saying that, hey, do this, right? Like, I started working when I was 16 years old. I've been working since. I did take 4 years off to raise my children. I couldn't afford to pay for daycare and gas. Like, my paycheck was worthless because that's exactly what it went to. So I stayed home. When I tried to re-enter the workforce after I left their dad, I was getting turned down jobs, like a fucking basic receptionist job, right? It's not hard. It's the first job I ever had. I worked full-time as a receptionist when I was 16. Not hard to answer. It's just not. They wanted people with bachelor's degrees in anything. You could have a fucking bachelor's degree in biology, but they're not going to look at your resume or anything and consider you unless you have the fucking piece of paper. Yeah. So because it's so competitive, it forces people to go and get these degrees. Like, I don't work in the social work field because I don't have a master's degree. Well, what are they fucking trying to pay people with master's degrees in certain jobs that I've looked at? $19 an hour. So you want me to go get a $40,000 degree so that you can pay me $19 an hour? Doesn't fucking match up. But because it's so competitive, that's why people have to go and pursue these degrees just to be considered for low-level shit. Because that's how much people...
$19 an hour for a job?
Right. No. It was for an overnight, like, residential counselor at a mental health facility. Like,
that should be
$19 an hour. Right. You think you should be making at least like 70 grand. But no. $19 a fucking hour is what it was offered.
It's
So
crazy. Like nowhere pays like that no more. Like it doesn't matter if you got a degree or not. Like nobody pays like that no more.
they
It's
don't have
literally
to, because
it,
they've created this system where it's so fucking competitive that we're going to accept the $20 an hour job because
you need the money,
you're not going to find better.
right? That's fucking nuts. Like they, like literally, you have to have your own business now, literally,
Mm-hmm.
or you're gonna be stuck in the
And
system.
even then, how many people have access to actually starting their business?
I
Right?
mean, there's a
Only
lot of ways to
certain
make
people.
businesses now, though. You can make a
Right, you can
business
get
selling
creative. You can get
buttons
creative,
on
but
Instagram.
you
Yeah,
can't focus like that. Like, you have to have your 9 to 5 and start your little business in your free time with as minimum whatever,
true.
but not everybody can get the business loan. Not everybody can do these things.
You don't
And
always get
then,
a business loan, though. You
no,
don't.
I'm not saying you do. But what I'm saying is not everybody has access to the same resources. So it's the shit that I don't want to hear is like, "Oh, I did it, you can do it." That's not fucking true. Not for a lot
Um,
of reasons, because not everybody's fucking built the same. Not everybody has the same tools in their toolbox. Not everybody knows the same people. Not everybody has the same access to resources, whatever those are, whether they're people, internet, whatever. Like, it's not an equal playing field. It never has been, and I'm tired of people
I mean,
saying.
it's probably not an equal playing field. I agree with that, but I mean, you definitely do got to have some kind of a drive outside of a 9 to 5 in order to start making strides towards becoming an entrepreneur. Though you have to, or it just ain't gonna happen. You know, like
Drive or not, like, I know, bruh, it's like it's Mexican fathers that I've known my whole life of my friends and shit, but like they work harder than anybody I know. They have the fucking drive. It's not
I see.
drive
Now we're
doesn't
gonna.
get you everywhere. Like, you can have all the drive in the world, but if you don't have a fucking guidance or a fucking some kind of whatever, you're not going to go far.
You do have to think out of the box too, though, because now we're getting onto the whole thing that Kim Kardashian got heat for when she, came out and said whatever she said like months ago or what have you. Remember when she kind of made everybody mad when she told
No, she
everybody,
pissed me the fuck off 1000%.
yeah,
Because
and
people think that it's like you're just not motivated enough. Oh, you're just not disciplined enough. Oh, you're just not thinking out of the box. Like, that's easy for you to say because your life, you've had access to shit that has fostered and trained you, and you've been educated to like be able to think of, even conceive those things. Not everybody has had that though.
I know a lot of
So
people
that's
though
why it's
who
like,
didn't have any advantages in life who became very successful though.
I'm not saying it
Sometimes
doesn't happen, Jimmy.
I know, but
It's
in
also a who you know game too, and
in
to
the
fucking dismiss that
but
is
you had to have some kind of driver motivation to get into the face of the person that you now know who might have gave you that boost in life in some kind of form or fashion. Though, like J. Cole, when he was trying to get signed to Jay-Z's record label, he had to go and show up every day behind, the studio or whatever to give him his demo tape. Like if he didn't have the drive to do that, like he was a broke kid from
who gave
North
him the idea
Carolina.
to do that. How did he
He
get the
probably,
idea
I'm
to do
sure he
that?
thought out of the box.
He
I'm
just
sure he
thought,
thought out of the box.
I'm gonna be the first person to do this. I've never
Okay,
seen it
no matter
before.
how he got
Maybe I'll go do
the
this.
idea, however he got the idea, that's like super irrelevant. The fact
No, it isn't.
being
It's
is that
a
it
resource.
is a
It's a form
resource.
of a
Like
resource.
every aspiring artist knows that, like if you want to be discovered, you got to put yourself in the faces of these people that you are trying to be discovered by. Like
But why
that's
do they
just
think
common
that?
knowledge.
Because they've
Why do
seen
you
it.
think that? Because that's just common knowledge. Like it's obvious. Like if you want to
There's
go and get
nothing
a
common
job
about
really
knowledge.
bad, Estela, I can't argue with you if you just can't hear anything I say though. Like just
I'm hearing
you
what you're
gotta
saying.
you gotta have an open mindset when it comes to when it comes to this, because if you don't, then you, not just you, but just in general, when I say you, people in general will be stuck in that rat race. You have to open your mind to like the possible ideas. Like it's not always about like the immediate resources. Like you literally could get a piece of paper and start writing down the steps towards getting to whatever business that you're trying to make. Like I'm super opposed when it comes to this subject, because like for me, like I love people like Gary Vee, right? He is a motivational speaker and he's, done a lot of cool things or whatever, but like he tells people like there's so many tools that people have nowadays. So when people are just like crying about, oh, I don't make enough money at the job or I don't have no time, like, dude, okay, I get it. Like you got a little bit of time. Okay, well, use that towards taking steps towards the business and the lifestyle that you want to create. And we all have the tools nowadays. Look at us right here, right now. We're on YouTube right now. We have a monetized YouTube channel. We do make money on this channel, not a lot of money on this channel, but that's a step. Now, the only thing that we got to do now, because our engagement is super whack now, and I want to talk about this on the podcast. Actually, this is something that I like to talk about. Like, look at right now. Like, we got 3 live viewers right now. That's fucking embarrassing to me that we only have 3 live viewers right now. We've had a podcast that used to get 100 live viewers at a single time. We should be at 1,000 viewers right now. All
But
right. So
why?
well, here's the
Because I
thing.
was
Like
showing
we got
my
to take,
feet.
okay, no matter what it was though,
It
we
wasn't
had
like
the
that
viewership.
prior to showing
We
my feet.
had, but we had the viewership is the point that I'm trying to make. So all right, now we got to take it back to square one now, right? So now we got to figure out ways to make this business that we're working on right here, that we're taking our time out of our day. You're taking time out of your day. You're somebody who has a 9 to 5 right now, right? And right now you're working towards business. So salute to you for being here and doing podcasts and stuff like that. And you do have a business in this here, right here, right? In this podcast, you do make money on this. Not a lot, but you do make money on it. So now what we got to do now is figure out ways to revamp it and turn it into the stream of income that we would like this podcast to be. It's possible. We just got to put our minds to it. You know what I mean?
I'm
Like
not
we can come
saying it's
here and
not
talk and
possible,
shoot the
Jimmy.
shit. We can come here and talk and shoot the shit all we want every single day. But if we're just like okay with mediocre, then that's cool. But we better not ever cry about this channel not being what we want it to be. That's why I come to you and I tell you like, man, let's try this, let's try that. Let's try these different things, because I don't want to be the one that cries about this channel not performing away. I want to try different things and come up with different ideas. And that's the drive and the motivation. Don't take me no money to tell you like, hey, let's try this, let's try that, let's try that. It don't cost us no money to do that and try new ways to make this channel become something. And that's just the analogy that I'm trying to come at you with when it comes to just people in any business that they're trying to create in general. Like, yeah, like you may not have all the advantages that everybody might have, but dude, like you could, if you put your mind to it, figure out a way
I
to
hear you.
get you
I'm not denying
where you
that.
want
I'm
to be.
not saying that that's not the case. But to
Because
sit
even
here
I'm
and
so,
speak
so
as if
sorry to I
everybody
gotta
has
cut
the
you off
same
for now.
capacity,
I
like
gotta
it's
cut you off
not
right now because I'm
fact.
gonna forget. I'm forgetting. Oh my gosh.
Go
I gotta
ahead.
cut you off right now. Hold that thought because you're better at that than I am. Um if we threw a whole bunch of money at this channel, it is not going to guarantee that this channel is going to pop off.
No.
So it doesn't always take money to build your business and be
That's
successful,
not what I
because you
said
can
either.
throw 100, but you did mention resources. You got to have resources. You could throw
Resources isn't only
$500,000.
monetary.
You could throw $500,000 if you had those resources into a trucking business, and every single one of those trucks could break down within the same month, and now it's failed. It's not always about the resources. It's just about
When
the
you hear
drive
the word
and making it
resources,
happen.
you only hear money, though. That's not what I'm referring to. I'm not
That's
saying
not what I'm
resources
referring
is
to,
just
because
money.
I can know somebody
Your all
who
your
is.
examples of my version of resources is money.
What
That's
else
not
are
what I'm
resources?
saying.
People
People, education,
people can't help that
fucking
either.
books that inspire people. Like those are
People
all
can't always help that.
resources.
we got some people that have been on this podcast who have hundreds of thousands of followers, and those people didn't transcend into that podcast episode getting 100,000 views. So it's not always people either.
I didn't say it was.
It's got to be it's got to be these
Resources
people.
doesn't mean one thing or one thing. Resources is a fucking plethora of things, Jimmy. Like access to resources.
But I'm not just talking about money.
Even
though.
just like learning, knowing how to fucking read. That's like you have that fucking available to you. You have that skill. Like it's just
my whole thing is like this though. Like we can't just keep like people can't like just keep crying about, you know, like all of the disadvantages and stuff. They got to do something about it. That's the whole point that I'm making though.
And my point that I'm making is, yes, I get what you're saying, but it's the people who say shit like that who have never had or been denied or whatever. Like you say, pick yourself up by your fucking bootstraps when not everybody has fucking boots. Not everybody has fucking socks. Yes, I get it. That means you gotta like work even fucking harder, right? Because like here's the game board. Some people get to start like midway through the fucking game board, but some people got to start before the fucking start line. And like I get it. It takes creativity, it takes innovation, it takes motivation, it takes discipline, it takes all those things, but they always got to have more of it, and it doesn't guarantee success, right? None of it does. But it does help when you have all this shit and you're up here on fucking halfway through the fucking board. Those people do have the advantage. And to fucking deny that is just like, what is the word I'm looking for? Willful ignorance. It's willful ignorance to sit there and say, well, I worked my ass off. Nobody's saying you didn't, but you didn't have to work your ass off the way fucking this guy had to. Like this guy really had to work his ass off, and he's still not going to be where you're at. And he's been putting way fucking more work than you because he didn't have all the fucking resources that you had. That's what I'm saying. I'm not saying that, oh, quit bitching and work. I'm not saying any of this shit, like denying any of what you just said. But I'm saying the playing field isn't leveled. And when people speak as if it is just because you had the fucking drive to like be here today and you have the creativity to like think about ways to revamp it, doesn't mean homeboy over here doesn't. It doesn't mean I don't. Like it doesn't mean any of that. But you are further ahead, and you might not have had to work harder to be there than some people back here. That's it. That's all I'm saying.
All right.
That's it.
We can go on and on about that. We could.
And like and then regarding this podcast, like to sit here and be like, well, it's ass now because the numbers aren't the same. I disagree. Wholeheartedly.
I didn't say that it's ass.
You basically said that.
I didn't say the podcast is ass.
You are disappointed because it doesn't have the numbers that it used to when I showed my feet, and on your other one, you're getting those numbers, and that shit makes you happy.
I just want progress. So like I want to, you know, try new things to revamp the podcast because
to me though, Jimmy, we are making progress. It's slower because it was slow in the beginning. We showed feet for 7 months, right? And that shit went exponential. It wasn't just the
feet, though. I don't know how many times I got to tell you that it wasn't just your feet, because even my new podcast doesn't have the kind of views that our podcast was getting when you were. Yeah, you had your feet out or whatever. That was the marketing that came behind the podcast or what have you. But like I'm yet to have a podcast that on my new channel that has 65K. We got that on this channel is because our chemistry of us talking when we talk.
Where the fuck are they? Because we're still talking.
Well, the shit that brought them is gone. So you know what I mean. But the fact of the matter is,
they enjoy talking. Them is still here. So
well. we're gonna be indifferent on that
Here's
topic.
the
Like
we're totally going to
continuous,
be.
yeah,
Because
because you
another thing that I measure our progress by is that our
you do teeth can't
subscriber
inspire people
count is still going up. We are
based off our
still
old podcasts. It is though. It is. It's based off our
it
old.
doesn't
Because if you look
matter.
at our,
It's still
it,
going up.
it's gonna. It ain't gonna last forever though. Like that. You gotta make strides towards
And I
making a
told
new.
you that I don't care if it's not fucking going up by the thousands as fast as it did last time, because I want
Mhm,
the people who want to be here for what we are offering, not
mhm.
for having fucking jerk material with my fucking toes on the screen.
Oh,
And
I'm
like,
not. I'm not
and
trying
to
to.
say
I'm
that it
not trying
wasn't
to say
because of feet, like it
it
was.
wasn't
It
just
was
because
because
your
of
feet
feet.
though. It wasn't. It wasn't just because your feet though. It was. There was different things to it. It wasn't just because your feet.
Okay,
Because guess
so
what? Even on the episodes that we had that didn't have your feet, because we would still do that. We'd call them pop-up pods. Those ones right now are sitting at like 2 or 3K.
well,
Because
they've also been on there for
had that
months.
engagement at that time. We had
Yeah,
that
but we
engagement.
also had a different energy, right? Like you were more excited about it. You
I'm excited
actually
too. Like I if you if you look back at our last 30, 40 episodes, I engage in every single fucking episode. Even this one. I engage. I'm
yeah,
engaging right now. This is
you are. You
guess
are.
what? This
What
is
I'm
content.
saying is
This
if
is
it
content.
wasn't if they were here for just the two of us, like you're saying, like, okay, they came for the feet, but they stayed for the conversation. Well, the conversation's still fucking happening. So,
Mhm. Well, they're not coming for that right away though.
right.
Every
But
single
the
business, there's
4,000
a
people that
you
stayed for
think
the
mhm.
conversations are still happening. So then,
Everything is marketing. Everything in any kind of business or any kind of show or anything like that is marketing.
well,
It's
that's where
always
we're weak
marketing.
on, right? Like, we don't put out
Yep,
shit
absolutely. We are
advertising the
weak
way
on
that we
marketing
used
right now.
to. We're not putting out
Mhm,
clips, right? I have a
mhm.
hard time doing that shit. I just do. It's a fucking struggle for me. It always has been. When I put them out, they're kind of whack. Like, it's just what, like, I'm terrible at that. That's
You're
not
actually
my
not bad
strength.
at clips, actually. No, you've put out some fire clips.
Which
When I
clips have
taught
I
you how
put
to
out
do
that
it,
are fire? I
you
put
put
out
out
like
like two
two
of them. The
after that.
Valentine's one, I know, but after I taught you that, how to do it, you
You
did
did the
good. You
Valentine
just
one, didn't you?
no, you did
You
the
did.
Valentine.
Oh, you did
I
the
did one and
Valentine.
you did two. You did one too, though. You did one about the
I
whole
didn't do the
like
Valentine one.
no, you did one for Valentine's too. Like it was like about like vagina or something like that. I forget exactly
That was my quote, but you posted that one. That was not
the
me.
guy. She even argues with me about the work she did. Hold on, I'm gonna tell you what it was right now. You did two of them after I taught you how to do it.
I know I've done two, but like
And they
I'm
were good.
terrible. They take a
You're not
lot of
terrible.
fucking time for me to do them.
I can immediately spot out the ones you did. At 2020, what? All right, hold on. You said you're the only person who has seen my vagina in 2022.
I
So
didn't
I
post
think
that
that
clip.
makes
You
you my
did.
Valentine. Stella, I don't do it like that. I would never put bubble text. That's not my style. I didn't do that.
Huh. I
I
swear to
don't
God, I
do
don't think I made that one, but okay. If you say
that.
so,
Stella, I
I'll
promise
believe
you
you.
you made that one. And
Okay,
then
I
you
guess
did
I made
another
that one.
one. And you did another one too.
Which
But
other one did
anyway,
I make?
I'm looking right now.
Show me, show me, show me. What I'm saying is there are things that we could be doing better. Like, you guys, when we first started this podcast, we would come up, like, we had a fucking shared notes with fucking topics, like shit that we saw that we wanted to bring, right? And we had hella topics. We don't do that anymore. But that kind of declined when we started going live, because when we started going live, we started interacting with the audience. And before we started going lives, we would just be on Zoom. It would just be the two of us, no distractions, no nothing. We'd talk about our couple of topics. We had like, in the beginning, we were really bad at transitioning to them too. Like, you'd be like, so speaking of blah, 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 blah. Like, that's the thing that, like, it's at a lull right now, right? It's slower right now. It's not like this fucking super hype, like poppin' fucking the excitement that it was before. But it's still, I still love it. I still think it's progressing, even if it's slower, because like we've talked about how this is a muscle that we exercise. It's what, like, we are way better today than we were then.
100%. I agree with
And
that.
and even if it's okay, we got one new follower this week or one new subscriber this week, 2 next week. Like it's still going like this. It might be like the fucking train is going slow, right? But like it's still going.
What is
Like
still going like
the
that though?
train, like
Okay.
our fucking
Like
progress
our
train.
skills,
Our progress train, our skills, all of that
Mm.
shit, it is still moving forward, even if it's moving forward slowly. Because like when I see, okay, our video has 300 views, that's fine with me. Like I don't want to sit there forever, but I don't want the wrong audience. I don't want the audience that's not for us.
Mm-hmm.
Like I really don't. Like I don't want to, like when we're on live sometimes and people are like feet, I want to fucking dive through the screen and slap them.
Hey, all right, so guys, if you ever see me like just do some crazy shit out of pocket, it was to drive this podcast forward. Just remember that.
What the fuck do you think you're gonna do that's out of
See, like
pocket on
Stella's
the
like,
podcast?
no, because I don't want to do gimmicks. Like, you know what I mean? I'm like, all right,
I don't think we should be surviving off gimmick to gimmick. Like I think we should have a fucking plan and we should like
entertainment though.
a
It's entertainment. Like
strategy.
it can't like all
Sure,
right,
it's
so
entertainment, but I'm not a fucking clown. Like I
welcome to
want
the
to
business
actually have
meeting,
real
everybody.
conversations. I know that you don't
Every
like that. You like
conversation
the
is
interview.
real though. Every conversation is this conversation is real.
Sure the fuck is.
Yeah, exactly. All four of you are getting the real deal. What me and her would be talking about, like even if we weren't recording right now. I'm not
Me
tripping.
and
It
Jimmy
is what
can't
it
talk
is.
on the phone because whenever me and Jimmy talk on the phone, we're podcasting basically.
Exactly.
So then when we come on here and like this is like a conversation we would have in private, but we're doing it on live.
Hey, no, Keith, don't bring up feet on here no more because she is done with it. She is
If
so
I
done.
show my
But
feet, it's
she
gonna be
will
on
come
the
on.
Foot Podcast.
She'll come on the Puff Pod and show her feet though. So
Yeah, but
it's
not here.
kind of a double standard, but you know, it's all good. I don't get that part though, but you know, I'm not even gonna get on that. I'm not even gonna get on that. I'm not. It is
First
what
of
it is.
all, when I stopped doing it, I told you I needed a fucking break from it.
What's
I
wrong with
didn't
foot modeling though? Foot modeling is not bad.
I
And for
didn't say
anybody who
foot
thinks that
modeling was
foot
bad.
modeling is bad, like how?
Didn't
Like
say it
how is
was
it bad?
bad.
Like people show their feet every day in sandals and flip flops and stuff like that.
Didn't
And
say
all of
it
a
was
sudden,
bad.
just
I
because
don't have
people
any
get off
beef with
to
foot
it, like
modeling or any of that. Like I literally still have a foot page. Like that's
so
not what my
you got a
issue
foot
was.
page, you go on the Puff Pod and show your feet, but it's just it's because you don't want this channel going in that direction. That's right. All right.
That's what I said.
Sometimes I gotta correct myself. So what direction is it going in then?
A direction that doesn't have fucking feet. That's a conversation. That's a
There's
show.
gotta
That's
be a lane, though.
entertaining.
There's gotta be a lane. Every channel and everybody has some kind of lane, or they're a celebrity. So we gotta have a lane. So
Well,
that
you're gonna become a celebrity because of Puff, so
likely, but that's a whole nother story.
which wouldn't exist without this. So
I always say that too. I always let it be known.
it's just fucking wild to me. It's wild to me.
So when you coming on the Puff Pod?
I don't know. We'll see. I need a pedicure. But you see?
I'm sorry, I'm here late. Did you miss the feet? Hey, you know what? People want to see my feet now.
I know, I read.
Yeah.
I thought it was interesting. They got really mad when he showed his feet back in the day. It looked like fucking Neapolitan ice cream. But I was just gonna say
Neapolitan ice
something.
cream is fire though.
Neapolitan ice cream was fire. I can't eat it, but it was good when I could. I was gonna say something. Mother
If any
of
of you all have an aspiring girlfriend, wife, or sister, friend who wants to be a foot model, though, tell her that she should do it.
also
Empower herself.
watch Plenty of Feet podcast, guys. You can go check it out and get all your fucking rocks off over there.
I do
What I was
on
gonna
that podcast.
say,
They don't watch this podcast though. I do.
what I was gonna say is that apparently I have to remind you why I stopped doing it.
No, you
And
don't. There's so many episodes of us telling people why you don't do it no more, and it's so understandable. I'm just fucking with you right now. You know I understand, so you don't have to explain that to
do
me.
you?
So you know damn well I understand. I think it's kind of crazy that you know what I mean, that you still have a foot page, that you're still down to go on
Well,
the pop
I didn't
all of
want to
that.
completely write off everybody who helped this channel get to where it is. I'm not fucking disrespectful. I don't hate the foot fetish community. I don't dislike them. What I didn't like was the negative attention, and it's not like the inner work I've been doing as a fucking an adult is like not tolerating abuse, right? And it's you can see it however you want and say ignore it and all this shit, and that's really easy for you to say because you weren't the subject. I was. And they never came out of pocket with you the way they did with me. They didn't even do it to Erica, probably because they knew she was your wife. But I
Oh, they do
wasn't
now.
anybody's wife.
They do
I
now.
wasn't anybody's wife. There was
They
nobody
get out of
that
pocket
they
with
was
me too.
aware of. Right. But not the way it was with me back then when it was fucking new and it grew the way it did and exploded the way it did and the amount that I received. And it wasn't something that I was willing to fucking tolerate for anything. Like, I don't care.
I could
Like,
dig it. That's not
I'll
debatable.
take 300
I would
views
never
over
debate you.
3,000 and abuse. Like, it's just what it is.
I would never debate you on how you felt mentally about all that.
And if
That's
it was
totally
something that I was into, if I was
mm,
like someone who exchanged, like, like if I wanted negative attention like that in exchange for numbers and money, I'd show my fucking ass on Instagram. But
No,
I
that's
don't
respectable.
do that.
No, for sure.
That's not who
Yeah.
I am. That's not something that I'm willing to fucking do like that. Like, I'm not. I'm not going to be out here posing and selling myself in this way that's going to receive the good, the bad, and the ugly. Like, I don't want that.
Mhm.
I'd rather have people's respect than their attention, and that's who I am. Like, and that's what I want
Yes,
this podcast
very
to be.
respectable. And you know damn well I'm down to keep it the way it is and go whatever direction you want to go outside of that. I just want and by the way, I've been doing the no foot cam on this podcast for like literally how many episodes? Like 60 now. So
Since
obviously
like
I'm
last fall, we stopped. Yeah.
since last fall. So I mean obviously I'm down with whatever, but you know, for
We can
anybody
totally
watching right
talk and revamp and see how we can improve and all those things. That's not something I'm against. Obviously, this is my baby too, just like yours. Like, but
Morty Smith says, "Want the world to hate you? Try shitting in Johnny Depp's bed."
oh,
Like that. Yeah, real talk. No, that's a good
that's
way to
fucking
make the world hate
disgusting.
you.
I
Or
can't believe that happened.
fuck with the damn Jack Sparrow. You can't fuck with Jack Sparrow. That's Jack Sparrow, man. That's the
She fucked with Jack Sparrow
Disney World.
1,000%.
You're not supposed to fuck with Jack Sparrow, so
That
you know
is
you do
that
that,
is
you
the most
definitely make the
disgusting
world hate
shit
you.
I've ever heard or seen, and like they really needed to
She
keep that
seems like a
child
mental
private.
case. She
They
seems
both
like a
are. They're both crazy. They're both crazy. They both abused each other in all the ways, and we didn't have to fucking know about it.
I mean, I can't believe that we're finding about any of it, to be honest. But if you watched her though, man, dude, she is such a faker. Like if you watch her,
Oh, I know. I saw her on Try. I'm like,
she's
bitch, you're an
gonna cry
actress
the whole
crying on the
time. I
stand.
know, but
Fuck
there's
out
no
of here.
tears. Like,
I
where are the
know.
tears at? She's just in there, like, where's the tears, Amber?
Yeah.
We don't see the tears.
Yeah. I was just like, stop. Stop.
I'm pretty sure
Like,
everybody thought that. There's gonna be so many
yeah.
memes that come out
And the
tomorrow.
Academy Award goes to Amber Heard for her
You ain't
performance
getting it.
on
She
the
is not getting
stand.
anything
Like,
from that performance, because that performance, I could read through it so easily. That is
yeah.
the worst acting I've
She was
seen.
going for that though. She was
That
going
is
for the fucking trophy 1000%
Amber Heard has put on the worst acting performance in
of
that
her life.
case. She's put on a worst acting performance since. All right, her performance is the worst acting performance I have seen since the last Michael B. Jordan I've watched. Michael B. Jordan movie I've watched.
He's got beef with Michael B. Jordan, you guys. Jimmy is
Oh, he's not a
not a
good actor.
fan.
He's
I
not a
don't
good
think he's
actor.
a
In my
fucking
opinion,
terrible actor like you
I
think.
think that I'm
I don't
sure he's
think
probably a
that
great
bad.
person. I'm sure he's probably a great person. He'd probably hate me for saying these things, but I'm sure you're dope. Like, and you're from the Bay, so I like that. But dude, like he absolutely. When I watched the Black Panther, I was like, oh no, he just messed it up for me. That's just me though. But like I said, I'm sure he's a cool dude in real life and all that. Just for me, entertainment wise,
Who's your
it's not
like
for me.
top 3 actors?
Top 3 actors.
Yeah.
Probably Denzel Washington, an obvious one. Aside from Denzel Washington, I'd have to probably go with Leonardo DiCaprio, amazing actor. And are we doing actors or actresses too?
Men, just actors.
Just men. All right. And then I'd probably have to go with. All right, so I got Denzel, I got Leonardo DiCaprio, and I probably would have to go with.
It's hard to make a top 3.
It is, but I might have to go with Johnny Depp. Johnny Depp is really fucking good. He plays
He's
every
really
role to a
talented.
T.
Yeah.
There's nobody that could do the roles he does but him.
Yeah, he's
Could you
incredibly
imagine
talented.
anybody
You know who
else
else is
doing
really
that?
good? Matthew McConaughey.
Yeah, I don't know about that. He just has
I
the
think he's
voice
good.
and the like.
Some of the movies he's done a pretty fucking incredible job.
Mhm.
He's not. I
He
don't think
just
I'd
has
put him in
he
my
has the
top
vibe.
3, but
He
he's
brings
really
the
good.
vibes to the movie, kind of like Channing Tatum or something like that. But he's actually funny. I like Channing Tatum in funny movies. He's a better actor than Michael B. Jordan.
I'm trying to think.
All right, I'll tell you who Michael B. Jordan is better than, because I don't want to just keep completely shit on him. I'm not Amber Heard.
Who's he better than?
He is better than, I forget his name, Liam, the Thor guy. He's way better than him. He is the worst actor in Hollywood.
Chris Hemsworth?
Chris Hemsworth. Terrible.
Yeah, I feel like he's only been hired because of his body and his
That's
face.
it. Purely.
1000%.
Purely.
I haven't seen him be like great in anything.
Not a good actor. I tell you who is a good actor, but he doesn't get the credit he deserves and doesn't get the roles either anymore, is that guy who played 300 Spartan.
Gerard Butler.
He's fucking dope to me, and he's funny.
Yeah, but I hear like he's like the reason why they're like blackballing him is like.
Is he blackballed?
Yeah, kind of.
Oh,
he doesn't get a lot of good roles. You know, it was good. Tom Hardy.
I don't think I know who that is.
You know who Tom Hardy is? He's Bane. He's Mad Max.
No, Will Ferrell is so fucking funny. Like,
Will Ferrell's really funny.
He is so fucking funny. I was watching bloopers of him, and pretty much there's bloopers that they make of Will Ferrell where people that he's working with, other actors, and also the camera crew, they can't keep straight faces while he acts. And so there's like a whole bunch of clips of him like saying some funny ass shit, and then everybody's just like, you know, they can't keep a straight face and they just start laughing. It is the funniest shit. Like, look it up on YouTube. Will Ferrell, Will Ferrell making everybody laugh or something like that, or people not able to keep a straight face with him. And I'm like, I can see it. It's funny.
I don't think I could.
I don't think I could either. He's really
I
fucking
don't think
funny.
I could. I don't think. See, like I always felt like I could totally do acting, but not if it's with someone super funny like that. It would take me a fucking minute. Like I would need a minute and some in order to like collect myself and like not completely die of laughter. Yeah, with him, no way. I couldn't do a movie with him.
Well, everybody, I smell the carne asada cooking downstairs, or it smells like it's been cooked. I haven't
There's
ate
a
since.
barbecue at your house?
No. But I need to eat something because I haven't ate anything today, except for breakfast, and that was a long time ago. So I need to get off the podcast.
I ate a lot of food, so I'm gonna go eat more because your girl's got to stay thick.
I like that post where they were like, "Why do women always want sex?" Or "Why are women always horny after sex?" And then the post was a guy acting like a chick eating, and then when he's a guy, he eats the food, and then she was like, "I'm hungry." He's like, "You just ate." I'm like, "Oh, I get it." So that's how
it's like she didn't finish, homie. That's why she's still horny. Like she didn't get to finish. You did, but she didn't.
Right.
That shit made me laugh so fucking hard. I had to post it.
All right, everybody. I'm finna get off. Thank you for those who watched and do love the conversation. We appreciate you all. And we're gonna be coming with some fire, man. By episode 200, there's gonna be some more
we're gonna be
fire.
Using all our drive and creativity. Really.
If you just all right, everybody. I'm gonna just be honest with you all as we get off. If she just listened
to the fuck up.
Genius, I could turn this podcast into the gold it deserves to be.
Let me go do my fucking clown makeup too, since we're gonna be jesters of the court.
Hey, listen. If you dye your hair purple, we're gonna get more views. No, I'm just playing. All right, everybody.
You show your asshole, we're gonna get all the views.
I bleached. Wait, what?
What? Right.
All right, y'all. We out. Oh wait, this isn't how we do it. Hold on, time.
It's not.
Oops. Here we go.